I'm dating coach Hayley Quinn, and in this short video I'm going to be teaching you 5 ways that you can adjust your filtering process so you stop choosing the emotionally unavailable person and start making much better decisions for yourself about who you invest your precious time and energy in. So if right now you feel like the universe is sending you a constant merry-go-round of emotionally unavailable guys, narcissists, people who don't treat you well, people who don't give you the kind of relationship that you want, the harsh reality and truth is it's not that emotionally unavailable people are doing an amazing job of finding you, it's that something in your dating process is making you choose to invest your time and energy in emotionally unavailable people. Now that is a bit of harsh reality there, and I know it's hard to hear because if you've been through relationships that are toxic, don't give you what you want, probably the last thing you want is a dating coach on YouTube telling you that it's all your fault. However, the second that we stop believing that our ability to meet people is linked to some mystical stuff going on in the universe, and when you start to actually own up to the fact that you are active in this process, you're the person who's filtering these people, you're choosing them, you actually get your power to change back. So I wanted to say before I get started that not to worry really too much if you haven't got there with your relationships at the moment. If you've watched my TED Talk, you will know that I had a crazy history of previous relationships before basically choosing to sort myself out and find a really great partner. We all have different trajectories through life, we all have different starts in life, so if so far you haven't set yourself up for having the healthiest dating patterns, don't worry about it. This is stuff you can actively work on and change, but it starts with really recognizing that you're the person that has agency in this process. You're the one that's going to give yourself the ability to meet emotionally available, amazing partners. So let's take a look at those 5 action steps. So action step 1 is I don't want you to approach dating from a stance of feeling concerned that this is always going to happen to you, or feeling fear or bitterness towards the process of dating as a whole. Now, I know this is a lot easier said than done, but when we have a mindset around dating where we're almost preparing ourselves to meet someone bad, it really colors and affects how we see the experiences that show up for us. So if you're going into dating and you're Googling like, what are some red flags on the first date? That could be an indicator there that the mindset that you're bringing into dating is one where you're almost expecting someone to treat you badly, or it's like you're expecting at a certain point in time to kind of rip off the wrapping paper of this package of a person you're dating and be horribly surprised by what's in store for you. Instead, I want you to really challenge yourself to have positive expectations around the dating process. I know if you feel like your whole history has said, you know what, I attract bad people, that this can be a challenge for you. But remember, today is a day where you really can start to create this change. And so even if it's something as small as telling yourself, you know what, actually, I do believe there's an emotionally available, wholesome, awesome person out there for me. Or I believe there's loads of great people I could have amazing experiences with. Or I believe that people are good and well-intentioned. And now especially that I really know what I'm focusing on and what I want, I'm going to really set myself up to be in a better place to meet them. It may seem funny, but if you can start to tweak that dialogue in your own head and really keep these positive affirmations going every day, and if you can change how you even talk about dating, slowly but surely this will help filter through so that you can have a much more positive outlook on dating. So the second action step that I want you to think about is to ditch the labeling. Now, I have definitely played amateur psychologist in the past and have called up my friends and been like, I've just dated someone who's a total narcissist. Now, I'm not a psychologist or a psychotherapist, and probably neither are you. There might be a few of you out there. So it can be very easy to slip into the trap when we don't have a very positive dating experience of just labeling that up and going, whoa, that was a bad egg. That was a narcissist. This was a sociopath. Like, we start throwing these words around, even labeling someone as emotionally unavailable. Now, maybe, of course, this might be the truth. However, a lot of the time you might find that Maybe the real truth is that you just didn't communicate clearly on either side what kind of relationship you were able to offer the other person. Maybe they weren't brave enough to show you that they weren't able to give you what you want. Maybe you had higher expectations than what they were able to deliver. There's going to be a lot of different reasons in there why someone may not turn out to be the love of your life. And I think we can only often damage our perspective of people and our openness and our willingness to fall in love if we get really trigger happy on those labels. So instead, of course, if you feel like you've had a genuinely really toxic relationship, YouTube isn't the place for this. This is the time to see a qualified therapist to help you work through that. But if you generally feel like you're attracting emotionally unavailable people, then start instead to see these experiences differently and avoid labeling up that experience in your mind negatively. If at all possible, try just for yourself to view things more positively. You can say, they just didn't want the same things as me, and that's okay. Or we didn't communicate clearly what our intentions were, and we were quite misaligned. Or I actually believe that they were someone different to how they actually showed up to be in reality. Try and bring yourself closer to what might be a truer statement, but one that makes you feel less like you're a magnet for bad eggs. Action step 3 is I want you to practice being slow to judge. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I've made a slightly dubious decision in my dating life, it's usually come from the fact that I really wanted something exciting and amazing to happen to me. Someone who showed up, who kind of pressed all of my buttons and really made me feel really attracted to them and excited. Suddenly, almost overnight, I went like skipping home, thinking, amazing, I've met this awesome person. And then at some stage, reality bit, and it showed me that my idea of the person versus who they actually were quite a long way apart, and reconciling those two things felt really difficult and uncomfortable. So to help you to make better decisions with dating, it's so good just to slow the whole process down and really suspend your judgment around someone. Now, as a dating coach, of course, I get tons of questions around this. I've even got questions kind of as extreme as, how can I tell what kind of a relationship someone is able to give me from looking at their dating app profile? And I'm like, I wish I could tell you that, but I'm not a psychic. So it's like when we really want to have a specific kind of relationship, at the start, we can look at everything from their dating profile to their messages to what first date they took us on. And we kind of like noodle it around in our minds, trying to get to the conclusion as fast as possible, is this person good for me or not? And unfortunately, when we do that, we often end up overanalyzing and we don't stay present in the reality. So instead, it's actually better to slow that whole process down. And it is okay when you're getting to know someone to just say to yourself, you know what, they seem good so far, but let's just see how stuff goes. So avoid deciding something about who they are as a person before you've really done the due diligence of actually getting to know them. So your fourth action step, if you are feeling demotivated by the whole process of dating, because you have had some difficult, tough relationships that haven't worked out in the way that you want, sometimes it can be hard to even take that first step back into the dating pool because you're just worried that like the same stuff's going to happen to you all over again. Creating a positive mindset and positive expectations about what you believe is going to happen will help. Being slow in your decision process is also going to help. What will also help you to feel safe to just continue to start the process very slowly of meeting someone is when you have a good and clear sense of your boundaries. Sometimes, if we're going to take one positive out of those bad relationships that we have, they can teach you a lot about what doesn't work for you. They can also teach you a lot about what you need to feel happy, safe, and secure. Maybe it'd be even helpful for you to kind of write a couple of lists about this. Write down what makes me feel calm and confident in relationships. What do I know after that disaster that I don't ever need ever again? Now, if you have a clear insight into what your personal boundaries are, whether that's when you have the conversation about when you're committed, how on time you want a person to be, how open you want a person to be about their lives, what you're going to find is you then create safety for yourself, because if you know what behavior you're happy with and not happy with, if you reach a juncture where you find some behavior that you're not comfortable with, you can know, you know what, it's really important for me now to communicate around this because I really need to feel calm and confident again about dating. Because of this, if you have a good handle on your boundaries, it can really help you gradually to restore that sense of trust in yourself and your ability to go out there and meet people. So if you're loving this advice so far, I would say I've got so much more I want to give you. If you're a man who's listening, you can head to hayleyquinn.com/unite. The link is below this video. If you're a woman, you can head to hayleyquinn.com/real-love. Link again below the video. So our final point or final action step that you want to think about. Now, in the past, when I used to have plenty of toxic and crazy relationships, what that actually came down to is I had a need for intensity. On some strange level, I used to really like the fact that my life was a bit crazy. I used to somewhat revel in speaking to my friends and being like, oh my gosh, I just met the weirdest guy, or this really strange thing happened to me. So if you keep selecting people who don't create stability in your life, they don't make you feel calm, they don't make you feel confident, they don't make you feel happy, maybe this is going back to actually that you're selecting people for the thrill of it, because it's exciting to be around them because you never quite know where you stand and it's brilliant one day and terrible the next. So challenge yourself around what qualities you're really selecting a person for. If you find that you constantly need a high intensity life, and maybe that's also really working long hours, going for it at the gym, partying all the time, if intensity is something that's driving you, this actually could be a really bad emotion to bring into your decision-making process around dating and relationships. So perhaps instead of looking for the mega spark followed by the mega disaster, instead look for the person who can bring you that sense of stability, calm. It's all about that slow and steady tortoise who might just win the race here. So as I said, my name's Hayley Quinn. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, please give it a like. If you know someone who would need to watch it now, share away, and of course, subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back again very soon.